Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am Kyle, joined by Mike Hall.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And it is a beautiful Friday here in the DMV. We have a recap episode for you of the Redskins game last night. The Redskins didn't look particularly good, but we're here to give you the good and bad from last night's game and what to look for and what things that the Redskins really need to progress on. Number one being Dwayne Haskins. Thought he didn't take it as serious as he should. He kind of didn't have his fundamentals down packed. But look, hey, that's something that can be built on, right? That's the way I feel like. And look, he showed what he can do last night. Escaping the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield. That ball, being able to stick that on Cam Sims' hands in the end zone. It was a hard catcher, Cam Sims. Only a couple guys in the league can do that. But that fact that he could be on the run, keep his eyes downfield, and put the ball on a dime like that shows a lot about Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, hey. Like everyone's been saying all over the 1067 and like all over the beat report, all over Twitter, the guy's only literally 14 games as he's played in removed from high school.
Right.
Like, you know, he had 1 year of starting at Ohio State. He came in as a filler for J.T. Barrett the year before that, and again destroyed Michigan. Like ridiculous.
Your poor Michigan Wolverines.
So ridiculous. But yeah, so I kind of expected a lot of downs and a lot of highs. The highs were better than the lows, obviously. Like you mentioned, the pass to Cam Sims, even though he didn't catch it. Great precision passing outside the pocket.
Yep.
Great touch on the ball. Just, like you said, a hard, really hard, tough catch. He showed he can scramble in the pocket, which he showed a little bit of last year, a little read options here and there. But everyone made it seem like he was just like the slowest quarterback ever. Like Tom Brady, he can never run. He showed he can scramble over a couple yards here and there.
He definitely has the ability to stretch.
He just likes to stay in the pocket and throw, which is
smart,
okay
which is
me.
actually the way that mobile quarterbacks are supposed to be.
Exactly.
They're supposed to operate as normal quarterbacks, but when they need the speed, use it.
Exactly.
But what happens a lot of times is it's a lot easier for you to run than throw, and so they use it to your advantage. Really, like
exactly. But as far as footwork and mechanics, those are things you can build upon, like you said, and it's only gonna go up from here. He started off, like I said, I gave him a B minus C plus type of grade. He got in and out of the huddle really fast, called the plays of the line. Obviously, protections at the line, the hot linebacker, the free rushers. That's going to come with more development and more reps, obviously. And my whole takeaway was from that game was we need to just never give Josh Woodrum any more reps and give Dwayne Haskins all the reps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right about that's why Jay sat Colt. And that makes a lot of sense because, look, they said Dwayne Haskins needs game time experience. He needs to be in there when the bullets are flying. He needs to be able to
I also want to see if they're going to give him
atmosphere.
a start with the ones. They started him with the ones against Cincinnati.
But that's the thing is, he had Wes Martin. Well, originally it was rumored that it was going to be Donald Penn and Wes Martin at left tackle, left guard for him. So they were going to make sure that Dwayne Haskins was okay, but Wes Martin wasn't out there at first. It was Eric Flowers and Donald Penn.
They didn't even put Donald Penn in until
right.
I think it was
they only kept him in for a couple plays, and then they subbed him out because of how well he did. Yeah. And they said, you know what, we need to chill back on this. We don't want to risk that.
Exactly.
But it made a lot of sense. But the fact being is, let's go over the negatives first. I want to talk about the negatives from last night. Something you're scared of. What takeaway that you got from that game where you're like, this is an issue and this has to be corrected?
Everyone's talked about it all off season. If you've been following anything Redskins, obviously Trent Williams not being there, but offensive line. I know last night there was none of the starters that started the game off, outside of maybe Eric Flowers. Hopefully not, but might be starting at left guard.
Yeah,
and the whole right side was out.
Yep.
The starting running backs weren't in.
The top 3 running backs didn't play.
Technically, the starting receivers weren't even in the game.
Yeah.
It was literally just Trey Quinn in the slot for a couple plays and Case Keenum pretty much like running and scrambling for his life.
Yeah, Robert Davis is battling for the 6th wide receiver spot, and he's the one that caught the touchdown pass in the first quarter.
Exactly. But negatives, definitely the O-line. They definitely need to get a lot of cohesion together and get a lot more reps together. And my biggest takeaway on the negative side was just the depth overall of the whole team. Defensively, like I said, I expected Baker Mayfield to carve up the 2 and the 3. Like, come on, that's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But for the simple fact that like, it didn't even look like they could stop a nosebleed last night in our first series. It's kind of scary. Everyone's been talking about Troy Apke in the offseason, blah blah blah. I've been saying from the get go, he's a special teams player at best. He kind of proved it last night. And just the depth overall, offensively and defensively, outside of running back and maybe receiver, is not looking good, but that's about it.
Yeah, and look, the offensive line unit as a whole did not play well last night. They had a bunch of holding penalties, but look, you're asking a second-year offensive tackle to block quite possibly the defensive player of the year this year in Myles Garrett, who's a freak of nature. I can't really blame him all that much, but the fact being is there wasn't the ones out there. Yeah. And look, we could sit here and say, yes, the Redskins get injured and they need their backups, but the fact being is if you go around to every team in the NFL right now and you take away their entire first unit and you put in their backups and you have one team have the first unit going against backups, that's what's going to happen. It's going to look like that. More times than not, it is. Yeah. And that's just normal. Right. Yeah, that's just normal to me. Look, and it's great because then the backups now have experience going against ones, which is good that they're getting that in now because when they go against in the season, they're going to say, hey, I'm used to this. I've seen this before. So look, I understand they played terribly, and that sucks. It really does. But one thing I want to take away.
Before you say that, the whole thing about that was, the only reason I was like so down on the line was you would think that going against our defensive line in practice, because they're like so talented, so good. I know you can't like fully make contact, fully hit in practice like that, but like you would think they got experience to going against a good defensive front, the ones. So when you go to the Browns, I know again Sheldon Richardson, Myles Garrett,
Larry Ogunjobi.
Ogunjobi, I was actually the guy with the last name O. Yeah. And the other guy, I forget who the other left end is, but
Olivier Vernon?
Oh, Olivier Vernon, exactly. So that's like literally like straight Pro Bowlers all across there, literally. Yeah. So I understand they had their troubles, but it's just like you got potential Pro Bowl talent going against every single day in practice. You would think they'd be a little bit more prepared, but again.
And one of the things that really scared me was the miscommunication on the offensive line for the sack of Dwayne Haskins. In particular, a lot of people were calling out Karen, the right guard there.
No, that was the center, 100%.
I think opposite. I think it was actually Paris, the right tackle. So if you go back and watch the replay, Matt Flanagan, the tight end on that play, he actually takes the outside rusher. He guards him one-on-one. He matches him 100%. He's not expecting a chip. The right tackle, Paris, goes with the tight end on the outside rusher. So the inside rusher on the right side there was coming over the guard. But the center, the left guard, and the left tackle, they all took one step to the left in pass protection.
They all first scanned left, and that's why I thought it was a center, but you are right, though.
So the right tackle was supposed to take a step left, which would have had him on the inside rusher, and the guard, Karen, who sat there, and if you watch him, he's there for support if anyone wraps in as a delayed blitz.
Yeah, you're right. That was definitely the right
So the right tackle. So I felt like the miscommunication on offensive line was very telling, and the fact that they are that far behind and the fact that the coaching staff, even knowing they're this far behind, and still put them out there in the field like that, I thought was very telling. Because look, I have been critical of Bill Callahan, and they need Bill Callahan now more than ever.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I know it's like only been OTAs and then like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks of training camp. So like, and it's the first preseason game, so you don't expect the backups to have that much cohesion.
And that being said, Jaron Christian, the left tackle for the Redskins, the backup left tackle, a second-year player out of what? God dang it, Louisville with Lamar Jackson. He just started practicing again at training camp last week. He's been injured, so he obviously going against a guy with the kind of speed and size of Myles Garrett is going to surprise you a little bit. And so I'm actually happy. I would, if I was Case Keenum, I'd be buying Jaron Christian a bottle of liquor today because if he didn't hold Myles Garrett, Case Keenum might be dead right now.
If I was Case Keenum, I'd be at Trent Williams' front door with like, yo, here's a big bag of money. Here's a big bottle of wine. Right. What's your favorite liquor?
I'm just saying, Myles Garrett was about to literally kill Case Keenum, and Jaron Christian held his shit up so he wouldn't do that. Thank God for Jaron Christian being smart like that because, dude, do that every time. Because we cannot have that happen again.
We might down another quarterback the first preseason game.
Right. No more, please. Don't do that anymore. But another negative that I do have to kind of point out is Jay Gruden's play calling in particular. When things get rough, when Jay's on a roll, it's easy for Jay, to knock out those plays just like anybody else. But it's almost like when they get stuck with that second and long, that second and 11, second and 8. The team doesn't know what to pick. It's that next play to kind of take that change away is really hard for them because you're asking Jay, okay, run the ball, but then you just ran the ball and you only got 1 yard, so are you going to do it again? And then and now you're stuck in a 3rd and 10 in an obvious passing situation? Or do you do a short pass, try to make it? And it's obvious that Jay is confused there, and that's where he is, I don't want to say liable, but he is not very good in his play calling abilities.
See, I'll give him a slight break on that just because you got to know the personnel is in the game
Right.
at that point. So you can't really call scheme up a dig and a post type route
Right.
concept or something like that. And obviously the offensive line can't protect for more than maybe like a 2 or 3 step drop at that point. And you don't want to give away all your plays in the preseason, the first game of the season.
Right.
But now you're right. Even in the regular season, in the past 4 or 5 years he's been here, it's always been he never really adjusts
Right.
to mid game. It's just kind of I'm gonna run my stuff and you're gonna like it, and I'm gonna beat you with it no matter what. Which obviously the good coaches in the league adjust on the fly, make switches, make changes. So hopefully Jay can get that under wraps this year, and Kevin O'Connell hopefully will help him with that.
Talk some sense into him.
Exactly.
A lot like McVay did when he was the offensive coordinator and took the reins away.
When we had not top offense, but
right. Well, so let's go into some of the positives, and I want to start off by saying Case Keenum, he didn't start off hot, but one positive takeaway that I saw was when Case Keenum saw and connected with Robert Davis, that wide open, busted coverage touchdown. Look, anybody in the league can make that throw. I will sit here and tell you, I know. I'm not going to lie, I know. But the fact being is, Case saw it developing. He saw the corner flat-footed. He said he's not going to get to that point, so he chucked the ball up. In years past, Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins, especially Kirk Cousins, he wouldn't throw that ball until he saw that wide receiver in open space.
He might not even look his way. He might be scanning the other side of the field at that point.
So what the difference is when Kirk Cousins would throw that long ball, the defense had enough time to adjust and tackle. It would be a long gain. But with Case Keenum, he saw it developing, was able to recognize what was going to happen, and put the ball in a spot that Robert Davis could catch and still get in the touchdown, and still get in the end zone. That's the difference between a touchdown and a long gain. And just like we saw with Jimmy Moreland's 4th down turnover on downs, you never know.
Yep.
If you have a long gain, you never know if you're going to get those points. And the guarantee of a touchdown is so much more worth it. And that I love the fact that Case Keenum has that ability to see something like that I think that's a huge positive to take away.
That was definitely a huge positive for me. An even bigger positive for me was it a couple plays before that, prior to that, on the pass play to Robert Davis down on the left side of the field?
That was two plays before that.
Two plays, exactly. So, Robert Davis, again, on a little deep seam route. I'm talking about, this looked like Minnesota 2017 Case Keenum. Just threw a nice little drop the dime right over the cornerback and the receiver's shoulder, right into the breadbasket.
Yep.
Obviously, the cornerback was beat by Robert Davis.
And he held his arm.
But Robert Davis almost caught the ball.
I still should have thought he should have hit that ball with his left hand.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. But again, it's Robert Davis. It's not OBJ or something like that. But again, just the way that he dropped that ball right into the breadbasket, put it right on a dime, right over the cornerback and the receiver's shoulder, just shows and proves he has potential to stretch the field a lot more than any quarterback's done probably since Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
In his good years, better years, whenever he was thrown in the windows and not waiting for them to be open. So that's definitely one of the positives for the offense. And I think that with Darius Geis and Chris Thompson and AP in the backfield, a stable first-string offensive line, and some actual capable wide receivers like McLaurin or P. Rich, Harmon, anyone on the outside. I think that with the running game, that's going to be, we'll see more of that a lot this year.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. But look, the biggest positive that came away from the Redskins last night,
no injuries,
is Jimmy Mini Green Moreland. Jimmy Moreland is a freak of nature, and they should not play him again until the regular season. He deserves a starting spot right now. And I'll say that with confidence. He earned himself a starting spot last night. I don't care. He played all 3 quarters, and every time he gave 110%. That is a baller. That's a competitor. That's a guy I want watching on Sundays this season.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of guy you want on your team. He makes plays happen. I absolutely love Jimmy Moore.
100% agree. Since rookie minicamp, he's been making plays. He's had a little bit of buzz going into rookie minicamp. Made a lot of plays. Get to OTAs. Who's the Jimmy Moreland guy? He's out there making plays. He's a rookie, 7th rounder. Oh my God. Get to training camp. Who's this Jimmy Moreland guy? He's
Yeah.
out here. He's still making plays. What's going on? First preseason game. He's making plays. Jimmy making Moreland, baby.
Yep.
But I will say this. I wouldn't go as far as starter yet. Because if you think about the fumble recovery he got, he did get beat like pretty badly. He was recovering.
Oh, yeah.
But again, you made a play on the ball, turned it over. Great job. He got turned around a couple plays here and there by some lesser receivers.
That receiver that beat him on that play was actually his teammate. His former his
JMU,
former teammate at JMU, yeah. So he knows Jimmy pretty well.
But yeah, I mean, he got turned around here and there, which obviously every cornerback in the league is going to get turned around at some point. But as far as like ceiling goes, he could definitely be at some point he's definitely going to be a rotational player. But I can see him by like mid-season overtaking the slot
Okay. All right, fine. I'll say this. Right now, after the first preset, he's guaranteed a rotational
without a doubt.
On the starting defense. Without a doubt.
Even coming from OTAs and training camp, he was already going to make the roster.
After
last night, he's definitely going to be in rotation.
So they ran a fade route. They tried throwing a fade route to, I think, Callaway or Higgins. And
it was the Callaway.
And Moreland was able to get a hand on it. Look, and they were able to tip it up. And
was that Callaway?
I think it was. I think it was Callaway. And Callaway actually almost came down with the ball, but he was out of bounds. The fact being is, Jimmy Moreland showing in close combat situations, being at only 5'10", still being able to get up on a fade ball and tip it away, shows his athletic ability. And then him on a goal line situation, there was a slant route ran by, I'm pretty sure, Higgins, and Jimmy Moreland got his left hand on the ball and swatted it away. Look at the different facets of that. That's two different things. That's one, ball range, ability to see where the ball is, and athletic ability to jump up and go get it at the highest point.
Yep.
Then the other side is the quickness and ability and the intelligence to see where the ball's going, follow the receiver, and then have the athletic ability to swat the ball down. That's two different things. That shows a complete corner.
Yep.
I'm ready to see him on Sundays. He's going to be ready to go. Sit him now and don't let him get injured. Please.
Like you said, for him to be able to see the play develop and jump the route with snap of a finger quickness, great sign. Like you said, playing the ball at its highest point on a fade route in the red zone on a taller receiver, great sign. And what bodes very, very, very well for him is he's not afraid to get dirty in the run game. He's not afraid to get up there, mix it up with a receiver, mix it up with a lineman or two, or even make a tackle. And a lot of corners nowadays, that's like their downfall. They can play great defense, but they're scared to get a little bit dirty in the run game. So with his like small frame, I know there was a lot of questions going into that. But if he can mix it up in the run game here and there, and then keep playing defense, pass protection, or if he can keep defending the pass the way he has been all through in the offseason and throughout the preseason, it's going to bode well. And obviously learning from Josh Norman, it's going to be great for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Moreland and that goal line stand, what led them there was given on the effort and the sweat and the work of Cole Holcomb, who is the rookie linebacker out of North Carolina that Rob Ryan, the middle linebacker coach, cannot stop talking about this cat. This guy, I'm pretty sure they were running a cover 3. He was in the middle of the field. That ball gets thrown behind him at least 10 or 15 yards. Guys DeShazier Everett gets juked out of his way, so the wide receiver gets, he gets slowed down just a little bit. It gives Cole Holcomb enough time to run from the 40 all the way to the goal line to hit the wide receiver down at the 1, which led to Jimmy Moreland's 4th down turnover on downs. Cole Holcomb is another positive takeaway. This could possibly be our Sean Lee.
Yeah.
This could be a guy that's smart, has the motor. He's a former walk-on at North Carolina as a freshman, which tells you he's a worker. Yeah. He doesn't. He's playing on borrowed time.
Did you hear the story about how he got noticed in North Carolina?
No.
So he was fifth string linebacker at that point. They were like running practice, whatever, blah blah blah, doing like 11-on-11 drills. I think the actual starter goes down with an injury, and instead of like the second string guy, third string guy running out there, Cole Holcomb just looked around and said, "Phew," ran out there, got a couple reps in, whatever, blah blah blah, for like I think they said 8 to 10 plays. He stood out for all 8 to 10 plays. So when the coaching staff goes back after practice, like reviewing the tape, whatever, blah blah blah, they keep saying 57 running across the field. They're like, "Who is this guy? Like, who is this?" And everyone's like, "I think that's the fifth string guy, Holcomb, the walk-on freshman." From that point on, he was a starter or a second string, a rotational player.
No way.
And ended up becoming a starter.
Yeah, and then he led the. Pretty sure he led the ACC or the team in tackles both years. Yeah. So good for Cole. That guy is.
That's the type of player you need in your locker room right there.
Yeah, and that's the type of guy the Redskins have needed to have, like Matt Ioannidis. You know, somebody who nobody really thought of and then just exploded.
I remember we were talking about this. Like the Redskins, the past 2 to 3 drafts have been not only drafting talent and great players, but they've been drafting culture-changing locker room guys, which is what the Redskins have never have since. I mean, they've had them here and there, but like as far as like a whole locker room as a whole, since I can even like really remember, to be honest with you, like I've been watching the Redskins my whole damn life. So
yeah, and the guys like Wes Martin too. They Theismann and Kenny Albert actually went into length about Wes Martin, the rookie guard at Iowa. He two-year captain there at Iowa. It just shows that he is a baller. He's the type of guy they look up to, and that's the character guys are bringing in now.
Exactly.
And they're reaping the benefits.
Yep.
This is John Allen's team, and I think that mindset is going to be finally taking over.
Yep.
I think Cole Holcomb, the ceiling is incredibly high.
Yep.
This kid is lightning fast. He has the motor. He has the intelligence. He's already picked up the defense.
Can you imagine once Ruben gets back fully healthy next season? God. You know how much speed we're going to have the inside linebacker?
It's going to be ridiculous.
Forward? Like, woo, I can't wait.
The Redskins could really change the league and the mindset of these hybrid linebackers that they're going to, like Deion Buchanan. Instead of that, going to bigger, bulkier linebackers that are fast.
Yep.
Like Zach Brown, in a way, that type of linebacker could make a really big change in the league.
Yep.
And but I wasn't able to see Cole Holcomb against a tight end last night, which is what I really wanted to see. But look, we'll have time. But it was a positive.
Hey, like he's going against Jay Reed every day in practice, so it can only bode well for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, around the league, the Giants played last night. Daniel Jones actually played pretty well. Came out, was I think 5 for 6 or was 5 for 5 with a touchdown. Yeah. He played really well, and Eli Manning only had like 3 pass attempts, something ridiculous. Like there were 3 yards passing, something stupid. But Daniel Jones looked good.
Yeah.
And that's what the Giants are going to need, man. They're going to have to put people in the seats. It can't just be Saquon Barkley.
Yep, 100%. I mean, he definitely looked good. I can definitely see why the Giants took him so high. I can see why. I know everyone was down on him a lot and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, obviously, you go 5 for 5 and score a touchdown on a series. You're doing something right. And they have little to none receivers on the Giants.
I got to cut you off because nobody cares about the Giants. I don't know why we did that so quickly. I actually wanted to talk about 2 different guys that played well last night for the Redskins in particular. One being Craig Reynolds, the running back. I really, really like this kid. He reminds me of Philip Lindsay. Yeah. He kind of has that kind of build where he's stocky for his size. He's big. He's skinny, but it's like that kind of, I don't want to say Aaron Donald, but it's kind of like for your size, being as big as you are is not normal.
Right. Like, like MJD type of something.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. And the way that he was able to run, he was smooth. He had great running ability. It wasn't like his plants were very electric and hard. So it's not like he's going to have a lot of ligament pressure. So I think that Craig Reynolds could be a guy, a crazy sleeper to take somebody like Samaje Perine's job. I think Craig Reynolds could be very, very good. Then the other guy that got injured but played incredibly well was Casanova McKenzie. Second year in a row he's been talked about. His bend on the possible sack on, I think it was Gabbert, I think the quarterback was at that point.
Oh, yeah, Shane Gilbert.
Yeah, Shane Gilbert, sorry, it was Gilbert. He almost, his bend on that was incredible. Yeah. He looked like a top 5 pass rusher.
Yeah. Now, without a doubt, McKenzie, definitely, I feel like he's going to be definitely getting the rotation as like a third down pass rush specialist type guy who actually really played well. And then you're getting a lot of shine. Ryan Anderson. He was great in the run game.
Yeah, he was. We saw him blow up that toss play. Yeah. That was really good.
I wish he can get a little bit more effective in the pass rushing game and stuff like that. But I mean, I think we can get at this point.
But that's why I still think it would be a smart idea to put him in just to see if what he'd do at inside linebacker, just to see.
I feel like they may have tried it already. Yeah. Like his coverage on like linebackers.
I'm sure it's bad.
Yeah, it's probably like.
Well, I mean, like on goal line and shit like that. I mean, like why wouldn't you?
No, he can definitely come in as like an inside like special tackle. Yeah, like that would be great. But he played well on the edge, set the edge really well. My whole thing about Reynolds, I did see a couple of Reynolds runs where like he was doing his thing. My whole thing is we're so loaded at like running back right now.
It's gonna be hard.
It's kind of like they might stash him, get him on the practice squad just to like, keep him around, and then maybe like injury happens and they get moved up. But P. Ryan, I've been done with him. I don't know why Jay's like talks about him so much.
Hey, he's good in short yardage situations. There's no doubt about that. He's strong.
Yeah.
He's strong, but he's not a guy that takes the cap off the defense. Exactly. He's not going to take a 5-yard run and turn it into 45
And that's
yards.
what the Redskins need, especially with, like, I wouldn't say the lackluster playmakers on the outside, but they're not the top-tier playmakers on the outside.
Right.
So we're going to need that Darius Geis kind of AP even. Home run hitting, I can take the ball up the gut 5 yards and turn it into a 75-yard touchdown. Or I can take a screen and break a tackle and turn it into an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
So, but nah, Reynolds played great. Byron Marshall even played pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
But he's always played well.
We've always known about Byron Marshall.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I hope they do keep Reynolds around the practice squad. But I could definitely see like him like not making the team and then going to another team and just all of a sudden blowing up.
Yeah, I just think Craig Reynolds is of this year's running back of the preseason that balls out that the fans love that they don't give a shot to.
The Brashad Ross type player.
I was just saying, somebody like that, I'd rather give a flyer to if you're going to give Samaje Perine a roster spot.
Especially they got Bryce Love on the pup right now. So, yeah. I mean, you never know.
You know Theismann actually screwed up last night. He said something about Bryce Love being on the pup all year. He caught himself as he was saying it, but it was during a play. He was talking about the depth at running back, and he was like, and this kid Bryce Love is going to be on pup all year, and like then changed the subject and went to something else. So I don't know if Bryce Love really is going to be on the pup all year. I know that they're saying he's close to being ready. I know he is.
Yeah, I could see them definitely. Well, I don't know though, because if they do bring him back, he could definitely help out in the punt return and kick return.
He could definitely.
That's what he did in college a lot too. So yeah, actually that would be nice. Hopefully he's not on pup all year. That would suck.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, as far as like depth goes, running back and receiver, I feel like we're like pretty good at. Cornerback with the emergence of Moreland, I think we're pretty good at. Safety kind of scares me because outside of Landon Collins and Nicholson,
yeah, because
DeShazier, Everett, and Troy Apke do not do it for me.
No, Troy Apke actually did pretty well in the run game.
In the run game, yeah, but like
he barely missed that touchdown pass. Yeah. He barely went over his fingers.
Like I said. He's developed a lot more than he did last year because last year he was just
horrible.
Way out of place.
I was legitimately impressed with Troy Apke.
Yeah, he was in the right places. Yeah. He was there. It's just you got to get a little bit more reaction time, half a second sooner. Same
with DeShazier Everett on the Jimmy Moreland batted pass in the end zone on the slant. DeShazier Everett's right there too. He outstretches for it, but he just missed it.
Right.
The safeties are always just one step behind, and it drives me nuts. But look, Troy Apke was there. The fact being is, if he was black, he probably would have been able to hit that ball.
That's funny as hell, because like, everyone said that last night we were watching the game. Like, man, if he was black, we'd have swatted that.
I'm racist. No, but seriously though, I was really impressed with Troy Apke. DeShazier Everett is a player's favorite. He's the guy that players love and are really advocating for. I haven't seen it.
Me either.
He's had the opportunities and he hasn't showcased it, and I really want him to. Because I want to believe what the players are giving us. You know, I want to believe what they're saying.
He could just be one of those practice all-stars that like practices very well, gets into a game situation.
See, that's what I was worried about with Jimmy Moreland.
Yeah.
That's what scared me about Jimmy Moreland. I was like, Jimmy Moreland could be the guy that balls out in training camp, but when the lights come on, he disappears. Yep. We don't know what happened to Jimmy Moreland. When I saw him with the lights on, first game of preseason, him ball out like he did, start him.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah.
Sold.
Hey, like I said, there's a lot of people that are like that. They just... Josh Doxson. Everyone talks about how Josh Doxson just makes all these amazing catches in practice. He never drops a pass. Oh my God, Josh Doxson. And he gets to the game and it's just like, you're slow as hell. You don't get separation. And then when you do get a chance to catch like a 50-50 ball, 9 times out of 10 you're going to drop the pass. So it's like, you're just a practice all-star. It is what it is. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, you can be a scout player for the rest of your career.
Yeah. And one thing I'm worried about with Doxson is Doxson having the Colt Brennan kind of weight on the Redskins. Back in the day, Colt Brennan in the preseason had gotten injured, and they couldn't cut Colt Brennan at this point. It was already a couple years he'd been on the team. They really liked Chase Daniel. They brought him in as undrafted free agent. He actually did pretty well for the Redskins in preseason, but they couldn't keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster. And so they couldn't cut Colt Brennan.
Right.
So they had to cut Chase Daniel. I feel like that's what's going to happen with Josh Doxson. We had a guy like Kidsey last night blow up.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Harmon or McLaurin yet. Is Doxson possibly like holding up somebody like a Cam Sims, somebody like a Robert Davis? Is Josh Doxson holding up their ability to have a job and to actually do well for this team?
Probably only because he would have been cut by now, but we owe him 2.6.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, what will be the point of cutting him? You're gonna have to pay him anyway.
Well, that's my point. It's like this: is he that weight?
No, exactly. So, I mean, I guess he can still be a reliable like red zone target or like a red zone.
Because I'll say it right now, I think Robert Davis is very good, and he deserves way more playing
without
time.
a doubt. And then, like I said, inside the 20, red zone target, I could definitely see Doxson getting some reps and some plays. But I mean, they didn't pick up the option for a good reason. But since they own $2.6 million, he's gonna get playing time. How much playing time will be seen, but he's definitely gonna be a starter for the first couple weeks until McLaurin or somebody takes over for him. But, I definitely 100% agree with you. He's definitely taken away from Kinsey or possibly Harmon, who might be on the practice squad to start the season.
And speaking of Kinsey, the first throw by Haskins, Kinsey wasn't open when Haskins threw that ball. He threw him open. He threw to a spot where Kinsey was going to be. And the fact that this is somebody we haven't heard anything about all training camp, and Dwayne Haskins was able to put the ball in a dime right in the breadbasket, I thought, wow. Yeah. So this kid has touch. That's another positive takeaway. Look, I understand how bad Dwayne played last night, but I was incredibly impressed.
Yep.
I thought it could have went a lot worse, and it just felt like he got the rhythm going, and he got way too excited.
Yeah.
And he just needs to bring himself back down to earth when he gets excited and to continue going. He just needs a little bit of maturity. Yeah. But the good thing is, he's got Alex Smith in the back corner helping him out.
Exactly. Alex Smith being around camp and really just being in his ear, just like telling him what he sees, telling him how he would do it, telling him, oh, when I did this last year, this is how we did it, blah, 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 is 100%, 100% nothing but great. And I think that's why Dwayne Haskins is going to be a 10-year franchise player for us going forward.
Yeah, and definitely his body is definitely made up like that, to be perfectly honest. He is built for the long haul.
We just got to get a line and more pieces around it. I think we'll be good to go.
The biggest question with Haskins, and I think the question has already been answered, the difference between him being a good quarterback and a bad quarterback, and that is he coachable?
Yeah. Without a doubt.
And he is.
Yep.
And I think this is a young man that knows he needs to get better. I don't think this is a young man that they're going to, blow his horn a bunch to the point where he doesn't care anymore. I think that time is gone. I think this is a different cat. This guy's ready to go.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And I heard one guy on Facebook. He was saying that Haskins isn't going to be ready. It will be ready in like 1 to 3 seasons.
Yeah, someone said 2 years away. I was like,
no, dude. I see that in half a season. I think that this kid is growing very fast.
Look. Would it be better if he sat the whole season, learned, watched? 100%.
Without a doubt.
But let's be serious.
Based on what the Redskins have at the quarterback position.
Exactly. Now. At some point, he's going to be on the field, whether it be before week 8 or after week 8. He's going to be out there, which, again, he needs reps, so throw him into the fire, let him get his shit, let him do his thing. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'd rather see Case Keenum start the first 5 weeks, 6 weeks of the season, and if we have an 0-6, 1-5, even 2-4 record at that point, screw it. Give the reins to Dwayne if he's ready. Let him do his thing. Let him get 10 games of actual NFL action and under his belt. But if we're 3-3 or better, or like anything like that, let him sit. Let him do the Pat Mahomes thing. Let Colt, Case, and even Alex Smith be in his ear, coaching him up all season, so we can hit the ground running next season.
Now, one of the biggest aspects of last night's game that I don't think many people are talking about is the fact that they didn't play Sweat, Harmon, McLaurin, Reed. They didn't play any of those cats. What does that tell you? That means Jay is keeping his secrets close, because if those guys needed playing time, they'd be playing, but he doesn't want to tip his hand. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways. The fact that whoever they sat last night is people that they consider incredibly important.
Yep.
Those guys, watch out for them. I think the Redskins are an incredibly dangerous team. I think that Jay would love for the rest of the league to think that they are a joke, and to think that what Baker Mayfield did to the backups last night is what's going to happen to them in the regular season.
Yep.
They would be welcoming for the league to look at them in that aspect.
Hey, like I've been saying that from the get-go, even before the draft happened, I was saying we can be like a 9-7 team just based off of staying healthy. We can be a 9-7 team. And then the draft comes around, we get our quarterback, we get our pass rusher. Obviously, with Trent being out, it's kind of like hindering my projections now. But hopefully, by week 2 at the latest, he'll be back. Because I don't really see him missing the Cowboys. Like, the Eagles game, I know he hates the Eagles, and that's a rivalry. But, like, he's trying to make a point, make a statement. But week 2, the home opener against the Cowboys, it don't get much better than that. I don't think Trent's going to really, like, let his boys, all his brothers down and miss that game. But if he does, it is what it is. So, I'm still going to go with 9-7. He could possibly win the division this year at this point. 9-7, 10-6 wild carders. I'm still going to go stick with that route. But definitely going forward, like, we can have a sleeper. We can be a sleeper team in the NFC.
Yeah, and speaking of the division, Nate Sudfeld, former Redskins draft pick, broke his wrist last night. He's getting surgery, so the Eagles will be without their backup quarterback, and that is huge. Carson Wentz, who's injury prone, been injured the past 2 seasons. Can he stay healthy for all 16 games? Because the Philadelphia Eagles, if Carson does get hurt again, they could be in some very, very big trouble, and that could be huge for the rest of this division, because the uncertainty with Zeke and the uncertainty with what the hell the Giants are going to look like. Nobody has any idea what they're going to look like. But seriously, that has big implications, that backup quarterback position. I think that's one of the biggest things that's flying under the radar that not many people are paying attention to, but it'll have ripple effects.
Yep, without a doubt. I was actually going to make that same point. Like, if Carson Wentz he'll probably ball out this year, do his thing. But if he gets injured and he's any type of nicked up, they're going to be in trouble.
I always say you always have to imagine Philly. Good things happen to shitty places, so you have to think that Carson Wentz is going to play all 16 and he's going to go back to his MVP type form.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like you said, the whole uncertainty with Zeke.
Yeah.
Are they going to pay Dak? Are they going to pay Amari this year? Or let them play it out for like a play it contract year? Who knows? And then the Giants, no one's even worried about them at this point. So, I mean, the division technically it's not up for grabs, but if you really like pay attention to what's going on and watch football, it is kind of up for grabs at this point going forward. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that speaking of divisions, I don't think it's so far fetched to believe that it's capable of the Redskins to go achieve that division title this year. I think that's actually very very easy to do. Not easy. I think it's acceptable to think.
It's a make it or break it year for Jay. I've been one of the few percentage of the Redskins fans that actually want to keep Jay around because I want stability.
Well, you're one of the few percentages that was against Jay, but has actually flopped over and said Jay's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly. And
stayed with Jay.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have flipped back by now.
Now I like what he's doing. I like what he's done. He's kept us in pretty good contention for the past 3+ years, 4 years. And I just want consistency with Haskins. I don't want Haskins to finally get the offense down, learn the offense, and then all of a sudden, oh, sorry, Jay, you had a bad year. Bye.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can promote Kevin Connell, but again, it's like a first-year head coach. He's knowing what he's doing. So, there's consistency. Redskins have not had consistency over the past 20+ years. I just want a couple years of consistency.
Right, and nobody's asking for the Dan Snyder to pull what Cincinnati did with Marvin Lewis and keep him for 30 years going 8-8. No.
Let him play his contract.
All we're asking for is just to give him a couple extra years with Dwayne Haskins. Let him develop Dwayne.
Exactly.
Let's see where it goes. We saw what happened with Kirk, what Jay did with Kirk after a season with Kirk. That turned into a top 5 offense. Yep. What can we do with Dwayne? I think the Redskins fans and that organization, the team, deserve that consistency because the players like Jay. And look, I understand Jay has been 8-8 every year. I get it. But the most injury team since 2015, exactly. This is a recipe for success. Just the only thing you have to do, not fire Jay and re-sign Trent.
Exactly.
That's it. And you'll be good to go. I tweeted at Trent yesterday. I tried to send him a little memoir. I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to advocate single-handedly to try to pull Trent back to the Redskins. I'm trying. This little white boy right here is trying so hard to keep Trent here. I keep posting videos of myself in Trent Williams jersey and tagging him in it and shit. I just need him back.
Hey man, someone's got to do it. We need a little extra push because from all reports, he don't ever want to be here ever again.
Yeah, I know, and it's ridiculous.
And I've been hearing a lot of momentum going forward about him going to Houston. Which makes sense. He's from Houston. Deshaun Watson needs a left tackle on his blind side because the line's horrible. So,
dude.
And then you know what? Actually, kind of made me be like, you hear Morgan Moses' comments last night during the game, during the interview? Pretty much he was talking about Trent, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's my boy. I love him, whatever. And at the very end, he said, I want him here, but at this point, whatever happens, happens. And I'm still going to support him and blah, 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 blah. So I think that the tide is turning where I think they're like, Trent ain't coming back. Because you remember before, Trent, he was like, yeah, you know, like, I expect him to be here, blah, 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 blah. Now, a couple weeks later, it's, you know, at this point, I support him. Whatever happens, happens. I support him anyway.
I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart. So I immediately think that Trent Williams told him, hey, man, you can't be tipping my hand like that because I have to play hardball for them to give me more of what I want. So if you keep clowning it like that, they're not going to take it seriously.
Right.
And that's where I felt like where it is at this point. And it sucks. It really does because none of this makes sense in my opinion. None of it. I don't think Trent hates it as much as it is being publicized. I think the Redskins are very
I think he hates the training staff as much as being publicized, and not just the organization as a whole.
Right, but the thing is that I'm just really concerned with the Redskins because the Redskins, what they do is they're very good at like public warfare. And what I mean by that is over the past 2 seasons, the Redskins have publicly leaked things about players that have come to their benefit. Both of them being Darius Geis and Jonathan Allen. Mm-hmm. And who is it this year? Montez Sweat as well. But look, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I think the Redskins were behind it. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I think the Redskins are very good at what they're doing, and I think it's a war of perception of what is real. And what I think is happening is Trent doesn't hate it as much as he does. But he has to go to the extreme to make it seem like that to get what he wants. And I think it's the other way for the Redskins. They have to publicly say, okay, fine. We're not going to do anything about it. We're going to sit back and let you do what the hell you need to do. But Bruce has come out publicly and said, we love him. We want him back. So they're doing one thing and doing another. Both sides are. Yeah. Because it's so weird that, you know, all the players are saying something different than what Craig Hoffman's reporting. And it's almost like disinformation is just getting pushed around left and right with this whole situation, and it's confusing as hell.
And that's why everyone's just like...
That's why I think the Redskins... That's why I'm really worried that the Redskins have a big hand in that. And that a lot of what we're hearing about Trent isn't actually coming from Trent's camp. It's just misinformation being pushed around to make Trent look a certain way.
Right.
And I hope that's not happening because I don't want to burn that bridge with the best, possibly, arguably the best left tackle in the league right now.
Exactly.
And I just hope that it's not as bad as they make it seem, and I hope that he does come back.
You would think by now they would have just told Trent, like, look, just come back. Like, obviously we can't fire the training staff this year, but, like, we'll interview some people throughout the year. We'll get a new staff in here next year. Like, just, come on, let's get the ball rolling here. But
my whole thing is, why?
I mean, I know he doesn't want to come back for preseason.
I just really don't think anyone would honestly sit there and say, Trent, it's a really smart thing for you to do with 2 years left in your deal to sit out.
No, without a doubt.
No. I don't think anyone in his camp would sit around and tell him this is a good financial decision.
Oh, I'm sure his agent is pretty much just like, they're going to trade you eventually, so just sit and chill.
That's why I'm just sitting here saying none of this makes sense. I don't get it at all, and that's why I keep going back to this just being Trent stray-handing training camp. Yeah. But all the smoke is telling me something different, you know? And so that's what, it sucks and it's confusing to me because I wish it would just go back to the way it was.
I know.
I thought about this. I was going through the same thing with the Scott McLuhan situation. You know, I just wanted it to go back to the way it was, but it never will. Nah. And most likely it's the way this situation is going to shape out as well. Yep. I mean, just given the Redskins' track record with burning bridges and relationships, this is generally how they go. Ugly. Yep. Ugly. Yep. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to our Redskins recap of the Browns game. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle.
I'm Mike.
We appreciate everybody. Remember, go like and share our page on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. You can link us up on Twitter at The Burgundy Zone or me on Twitter at Chronic. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We love you. Trent, baby, come back.
Come back to me.
Redskins football. Woo!
Woo! Audio Jungle.